Today's Amud is Brachas Daf Yud Gimel Amud Beis. Good to see you. Yud Gimel Amud Beis. So we're in the wide lines, the fifth wide line. That we said like this. Rav Yirmiyah Avi Yosef Kamei de Rav Chia Bar Abba. Rav Yirmiyah was sitting in front of Rav Chia Bar Abba. Chazid Havei Marich Tuva. When he said the word Echad in Kriya Shema, he dragged it out. He did Echad, like he did it really long. Echad. Amalei, he said to him, what are you doing? Kivendam lichtei lemaila lemata. Since you crowned Hashem up and down, al baruchais, and four corners of the world, su loitzricha. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to think about anything else. That's all you got to do. You don't need to spend half an hour thinking Hashem is all the kavanas for Krishna, whatever you want to think. One thing, two things. Up and down, four corners. How long does it take you? A few seconds? You're good. Don't do more than that. So Rashi says over here, take a look in Rashi, Dam lichtei lema'ala, she'erach toshir shetachshe belibcha Hashem echa b'shamayim maras v'daled ruchais. That's all you have to think. You have to think Hashem is the ruler in Shemayim, Va'aretz, and the four corners of the world. You don't have to take longer than that. What does it take? It takes 2-3 seconds max. No reason to go longer than that, right? And the little thing there, that means halacha. Don't say Hashem Echad. Don't do like too long. Simple. It's a machlokes now. Actually, what the kavanah should be, halacha l'maisa. Where should you have the kavanah? So Rashi says, if you remember before, Rashi says you can't extend the ches. You can't say because that's not a word. The word is echad. You should only extend the daled, and the kavanah has to be where you say the daled, and that's how the Grop paskins. When you say the daled, that's when you should be thinking about Hashem is no thanks. Hashem is Hashem rules Shemayim V'aretz, the four corners of the world. Only in the daled. Says the Ramah, the Achim Moshe says, when you say the word Echad, the person should think when you say the Aleph is gematria 1. There's one Hashem. Ches is that is gematria 8. That he's the king in seven Rekiim. He's 1 in 7 Rekiim, that's a Ches. And Daled, four corners of the world. That's your Echad. So, different opinions, what you should do. As we said, it's hard to extend the Daled, but I can't remember who says this, that the shir is like, the Aleph should be short. You shouldn't drag out the Aleph. You shouldn't say, because that's as you're saying, it sounds like you're saying, like, Ein Echad, or Ein Chad, there isn't one. You say, Echad, don't drag out the Aleph. Or you shouldn't be thinking too much about there's only one. One is one. You don't have to extend, you don't say, there's only one. It's one. There's a shaila if the Shulchan Aruch says you can't drag out the Dalet. So when do you think that Hashem is four corners of the world up and down? You say the Chod, and after the Dalet, that's when you have these thoughts. In other words, your thoughts process starts when you say the Dalet, but it carries on for a second afterwards, and that's considered like it's still part of the Dalet. Others say that you should, normally when you pray, you're supposed to have the kavanah, the Pirush HaMilim, before you say the words. You're supposed to think in your head, then you say the words. So when you say the words, you know what you're saying. You shouldn't just think about what you're saying afterwards. That's a Furush Ramban. That's how you're supposed to pray. Think what the word means before you say it, not after you say it. But when you say Shema, it's not a prayer. You're reading a sentence. So there you can think about what it means after you say it. Okay. Says the gemorah. Slight change of sugya. Change of direction. Amr of Nasan, Bar Mar Ukva Amr of Yehuda. Before you go weiter, just say a quick vote that my Rosh Yeshiva used to say that people Mamlech Hashem in the four corners of the world, up and down, everywhere else, except for one place, except for me. Leave me out of it. I get to do what I want. No, you Mamlech Hashem, he's the king over you also. Throw that in also. He's the king of the whole world and me. I'm also his humble servant. Okay. Says Gemara. Amar of Yehuda. Alevavcha b'mida ba'amida. When you say the words alav avecha, you should be standing. What this means, we'll see, is that if you're walking, you should stop and stand still. It doesn't mean if you're lying down, you should stand up, right? It means just stop. Alav avecha ba'amida, stop, stand still. When you say those words, alav avecha, you have to stop? No. Ad alav avecha. What does it mean? It means till you get to al levavecha. Now, as you say the whole Shema, till al levavecha, when you get to al, you should stop. Stop walking. Ba'amida. When you carry on saying Shema, you're allowed to walk. It says in Shema, say Shema. You don't have to stop. Reb Yochanan, Omar, Kol HaParsha Kula Ba'amida. Reb Yochanan says, the whole parsha you have to say standing up, standing still. So whether you have to stand still till alav avecha or the whole first parsha is dependent on the original machlekes we had. What do you have to have kavanah for? Do you have to have kavanah, know what you're saying just till alav avecha, or do you have to know what you're saying the whole first parsha? When's the din kavanah? If the din kavanah is the whole first parsha, you have to stop for the whole first parsha. So it turns out that we paskin that you only have to have kavanah for the first pasuk. In Kenya, you only have to stop, stand still for the first pasuk, even though the gemorah doesn't say that beferish. But since you know you only have to have kavanah for the first pasuk, so you only have to stand still for the first pasuk.
Your mom should
stand still, no moving. Yeah.
Good to know.
Right. I did say I'm discussing. What if you're driving? You're saying Shema. You have to stop. So it's a din in kavana. Like you can't have kavana when you're walking. You're concentrating about not falling over, or not. You don't want to crash. So you should
you definitely
be
can't
stationary.
put your hands over your eyes.
Right. We're going to see in a second. What's this thing about putting your hands over your eyes? Do you have to be hands over your eyes? Where does that come from? So it says the gemorah. Tosh Tana Rabbana. This is what you know that right over here. Torah Rabbana. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Zu Kriya Shema Shel Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, aka Rebbe, who authored the Mishnah, he says, what was his Kriya Shema? That one pasuk. He didn't say anything else. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. That's all he said. Nothing else. Amalei Rav Rav Chia. Rav said to Reb Chaim, he was Ali Amoraim. He was a Talmud of Rebbe. He said, you know what? I never saw Rebbe ever say Kriya Shema b'chal. I never saw it. He didn't say Kriya Shema. So Rashi says, what does that mean? It means he gave shir. He was teaching Torah before the Zman Kriya Shema, and he went till after the Zman Kriya Shema. Every day he gave a 4-hour shir. From before the Zman till after the Zman, he didn't stop to say Kriya Shema. I never saw him say Kriya Shema at all. So Amalei Bapachti.
That's only in the morning, though.
In the morning, yeah. He didn't see him say Kriya Shema in the morning.
One second. See,
What did everyone else do? Everyone else said Kriya Shema.
I know. I have a problem with that because listen.
We're going to see in a second. We're going to see what happened. Hold on. We'll see. Hold your thought. Let's see what he answered him. So this is where you're getting it from. Take a look at this. Amalei Bapachsi, it's the name. It's his name. B'shah shema v'yodei al panav mekabel alav ol machshvam. You know when Rebbe said Kriya Shema, he sat there and shit. He went like this. Oh, right. Put his hand on his face. That's when he said Kriya Shema. Every day he does that. He goes. He covers his face, and that's when he says Kriya Shema. Okay, so he does say Kriya Shema, just he doesn't want everyone to know about it. He said Kriya, he doesn't want to, it's a private thing. He covers his face and he says Kriya Shema.
But Kriya Shema in general isn't a private thing. I mean,
yeah, he covers his face. So the question is, first of all, why is he covering his face? Why should you cover your eyes when you say Kriya Shema? Because it doesn't say on his face, so there's two opinions, two shittas. First shitta is because kavana. He's in share. There's hundreds of talmidim there. Don't look at them. It's a distraction. You can concentrate, right? You have to have kavanah. You can concentrate. The second opinion is not so you can concentrate. Totally different pshat. When you say the Rishonim say that what you're supposed to do is move your eyes around. Arba conference it's up and down. So he's going like this, up, down, left, right, and he looks strange. People are going to be mezalzel. What's this guy doing? So therefore, he closed his eyes. He covered his eyes so that no one should see. So why can't you just close your eyelids? I guess you can, just to make sure that, like, you know.
Is there an Indian to do that, to move your eyes around?
L'chayra, the Rishonim say that's why he did it. That's why he covers his eyes. Not for kavanah, just so people shouldn't see him moving his eyes. I think halacha l'maisa, you definitely don't have to do it. But there's a Talmud or Rabbeinu, I think they're the ones that say that. That's why he did it. Interestingly, it says Yodov al-Panav. What does that mean?
Exactly.
His two hands. I once was by one of the G'dayei Yisrael, and that was Shachris, never again, because it was like a 17-hour Shachris, it took forever. I'm like, and he said Krishma like this. And actually, that's what it looks like. That's what happened over here, because it's Yodov is two hands. It doesn't say Yodoi. Yodoi is one hand. Yodov is plural. It's two hands. So he put both his hands on his face. And also, it doesn't say on his eyes, it's on his face. So how are you going to get two hands on your face? Either like this or like this. But either way, two hands are going to cover. Now, the other thing is, if you just think about it, I didn't see anyone saying this, but this guy said he never saw him saying Kriya Shema. If he just covered his face and went Shema Yisrael Hashem, he would see him saying something. Why, why is his lips moving and nothing's coming out of his mouth, right? If he's going to the Shema Yisrael Hashem, people will be like, oh, he's saying Kriya Shema. So it must be covered his mouth also, otherwise they would know that he's saying Kriya Shema. So that's a mashmai. So that's what they did. They covered both, but that's not the minhag in Klal. So minhag in Klal is cover your eyes, like Rabbeinu Yonah says. You cover your eyes, the concentration. People shouldn't see your eyes, not to cover your whole face.
I still have a problem with that. Maybe it's because I'm a hard. I don't know.
Yeah,
If you're
what do you mean?
If you're going to give shear,
yeah,
right?
Okay.
Why does it have to be the time of the davening time? So.
First of all, why are you assuming he didn't give shir the whole day? Maybe he gave shir the whole day. And it could be everyone else went to different shir. He was giving shir the whole day. But at that time also he was giving shir. Or maybe that was the only slot available in Shiva. The 5 a.m. shir. Maybe that's when the best time he gave shir was. The question they ask is, if there's a yeshivs to say Kriya Shema, why isn't he saying Kriya Shema? Like, how's he getting out of this? He's just saying the first pasuk. The answer is that, I mean, it says before Shabbat, you're supposed to stop learning Torah to say Kriya Shema. So what they explain is, according to Rebbe, maybe this is the halacha, you only have to stop to say the first pasuk. You don't have to stop to say the whole thing. Since he's learning Torah, it's bittul Torah to say the whole thing. That's only the Rabban. He's learning Torah. Bittul Torah.
That's my problem.
And some say no. You know why? Because it's Torah de Rabbim. Torah of 100 people. That's more important than Yechiv the Rabban and say Kriya Shema. You're right. Normally you stop to say Kriya Shema if you biyachid by yourself. But the Rabbim, when the Tzibur needs you, in other words, there's two separate dinim. One is called Talmud Torah. When you're learning Torah, every mitzvah you have to stop to do any mitzvah. If you're learning Torah, you have a mitzvah not to do tzedakah, you have to stop and do tzedakah. If you have a mitzvah to do chesed, to help a woman cross the road, you have to stop to help them cross the road, right? Why? An old woman, not talking about a sick person. Help any woman cross the road. So why? Because any mitzvah if there's a mitzvah that no one else can do except for you have to close your sefer and go help and go do the mitzvah. You have to close your sefer and shake lulav. What's the point of the Torah? To keep it, to fulfill. So if you're not going to stop learning, you're not going to fulfill anything. You're just going to learn all day. You're not going to mitzvah. So you have to close the gemorah to learn. Torah de Rabbim is not. Torah de Rabbim is a separate mitzvah. It's not you're learning, but you're also teaching. When you're teaching Torah, you don't have to stop to do any other mitzvah. Because you're doing Torah, but you're also teaching Torah. It's a separate mitzvah. So you don't have to stop teaching in order to, in order to do another mitzvah.
Look in the Haggadah, where they're all sitting, and the Talmudim have to come down.
It's Kriya Shema.
Kriya Shema, right.
Now, one question they ask over here is, so you don't have to stop. Wait, should we just see one more line in the Gemara first? Let's see two more lines in the Gemara. Let's two more lines in the Gemara. So we're in the very wide line, second very wide line. Reb Shimon Berebi, Chayzev v'gaimra, first wide line. Chayzev v'gaimra, ayenu chayzev v'gaimra. After Rebbe gave share, did he say the rest of Kriya Shema? Or did he not say the rest of Kriya Shema? So there's a machlokes if we're talking about he finished share after the Zman Kriya Shema. Did he say now that he finished share? Does he bother saying Kriya Shema? It's after the Zman. Should he say the Zman? Just to be Yitzhak, you said the Psukim Talmud Torah, but say Kriya Shema. Don't go without saying anything. We'll see in a second, but there's another teretz. But Kapra said he didn't go ahead and repeat Kriya Shema. Reb Shimon bar Rebbe Yomer Chayzev Gemorah. Reb Shimon bar Rebbe said he did say Kriya Shema again. Amalei bar Kapra Reb Shimon bar Rebbe Bishmel did Amina Eino Chayzev Gemorah. According to me, that he didn't go ahead and say the rest of Kriya Shema, right? He let it be. That's why Hainu de Mahader Rebbe Ashmaisa the Izbei Yitzis Mitzrayim. That's why Rebbe every day learned something to do with Yitzis Mitzrayim, coming out of Egypt. Since you have to remember coming out of Egypt every single day, and he didn't say Kriya Shema, which takes care of that issue, that's why every day in his learning he spoke about Yitzis Mitzrayim, coming out of Egypt. According to you, they went ahead and he said Kriya Shema afterwards. So why did he bother? Why was he? Why did he teach things about Yitzis Mitzrayim? Because even though he's saying Yitzis Mitzrayim afterwards in Kriya Shema in the Parashat of Tzitzis, he wanted to say Yitzis Mitzrayim bizmana. What's his man? Rashi says the Zman of Kriya Shema. Now, the Zman of Yitzis Mitzrayim is not in the morning. The Zman of Yitzis Mitzrayim is Balayla, is B'yamim. You have the whole day to say Yitzis Mitzrayim. Right? But he wanted to do it. Since Chazal were misakin to say Yitzis Mitzrayim at the same time with Kriya Shema, he also wanted to do that thing of saying Yitzis Mitzrayim, the Zman of Kriya Shema. So, that's why he said it. What's going to be the din? Okay. Let's keep going. Amar of Ila Bareid of Shmuel Bar Marta Mishmei de Rav. Amar Shema Yisrael Hashem Hashem Echad. A guy says Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. There's only one God. Venenes l'shena. Then he falls asleep. Boom. He's out cold. Some say it doesn't mean that he falls asleep. It means he's basically half asleep. He carries on reading, but his head's not there, right? His head's not there at all.
It was good nighttime.
He falls asleep. Well, night, day, doesn't matter. Yotza, he's Yotza. You said Kriya Shema, Yotza.
Maybe he's concentrating so much on the fact that there's Hashem Echad that he's like in a trance-like state. Maybe that's what it means.
No, it says he falls asleep.
No, but I'm saying, but like...
Okay, maybe. Amalei Rav Nachman, Ledru Avdei, Ledoru Avdei. So Rav Nachman said to this Doru guy, the Psuka Kama Tziron, in the first pasuk, wake me up, bother me, cheper me, to make sure I have kavana. Tfei loy tetzaron. More than after the first pasuk, leave me alone, don't bother me. Amalei Rav Yosef, Braid Rabbah, Rav Yosef said to Rav Yosef, the son of Rabbah, Avuch, your father, Rabbah, Heichi Avi Ovid, what did your father do? Amalei, Psuka Kama Avakom Etzayr, Nafshei, Tfei Avakom Etzayr Nafshei. The first pasuk, he was Mitzay himself. The second pasuk, he wasn't Mitzay himself. The question they ask is, I don't understand. You have a Chiv Darbonan to say Kriya Shema at least, right? It's Darbonan. So why didn't he want to be bothered to say the rest of the Kriya Shema? You got to chiv darbonan to shake lulav now. Second day yom. You're not going to shake lulav. Wake up, say Kriya Shema. So what they explain is that's why they explain. He said Kriya Shema, just he didn't have kavana. He was half asleep. That's one sheet. The other sheet is no, because he's eines and it's a darbonan. He doesn't have to wake up to say Kriya Shema. He's eines. He's nanas. It's not a chiv doraisa. He's eines. That's why he didn't say Kriya Shema. Machlokes. Question is first pasuk of Kriya Shema, right? What's the... Okay, we'll keep going. Amar Yosef. Prakton, loikwa Kriya Shema. What's a prakton? Prakton is you're sleeping on your back. Someone lies on his back and sleeps. You can't say Kriya Shema. The gemorah asks, Mikru hu d'loikari, you can't learn. Hamigna Shapidami be he's allowed to sleep. You're allowed to sleep on your back. But Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, the holy Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, lied to man Dagoni Aprokid. He cursed someone that sleeps on his back. There's a curse. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi.
Why?
Good question. Very good question. It's a bit of a machlekes. Let's just finish this line. So gemorah answers. So the question is how can you say don't say Krishma lying on your back? You can't even sleep on your back at all. It's also to sleep on your back. You cursed. So Amri Migna Kimatzli Shapir Domi. Amri Migna sleeping Kimatzli if you're leaning on the side Shapi Domi. That's okay. It's talking about you're not sleeping straight on your back. You're a little bit to the side. Mikra, but reading the pasuk, reading Torah, Avagav the Matzli, even though you're leaning on the side, Namiya. So you can't even say Krishma leaning a bit on the side. The Gemara asks, Rabbi Yochanan Matzi Vakari. We know Rabbi Yochanan, he leaned on his side and he read Krishma. Shani Rabbi Yochanan, the Gemara answers, Shani Rabbi Yochanan, the Bal Basu. Rabbi Yochanan was very, very fat. The Gemara talks about how fat Rabbi Yochanan was. Cows could walk under his belly. I don't know what it says, right? Massive guy. So for him, he was allowed to read even on his side. So you ask him, why can't you lie on your back? So why can't you sleep on your back? There's a couple of machlekes in it. First of all, why can't you sleep on your back? So some say it's because a person could have a nocturnal discharge. Others say Rashi. Take a look in Rashi. Rashi says, Prakton, you got it?
Yep.
It's Sheikhiva Gabay upon Vilamani. You're lying on the back and your face is up. I don't know why you have to say your face is up. Why can't you lie on your back, your face sideways? But okay. Light the man the gun procket. He cursed someone. Let's see. Why would he curse this guy? Shemis kasha. He might become erected and everyone's gonna see him. It's a bizayon. It's a disgrace. So vudar kanai, that's disgraceful. So there's two opinions so far. One is you might have a discharge. Others is that it's a disgraceful. Others say it's because it's going to create bad thoughts in his mind. I think the Ramban says his spinal cord heats up, and that actually goes to the brain, and that can create in his head bad thoughts, immoral thoughts.
Why do we assume he can be seen? Wouldn't he be in a...
So the difference is what's going to be the din? Very good. What's going to be the din? If he's in a dark room where he's by himself, is he allowed to sleep on the back? If it's because we're worried that people will see him, you're allowed to. But if we're worried that he'll have a discharge or bad thoughts, even when you're by yourself, it should be also. Others say, no, it's a gezerah. You're not allowed to do it either way. And another nafkamina is, another shayla, it's not a nafkamina is it only also to sleep like that? Or is it also just to lie down like that? The Gemara asked, the Gemara said, how could you say Krishma? You're not allowed to sleep like that. The Gemara could have said, he's not going to sleep, the guy. The Gemara could have answered, this dude's not going to sleep. He's on the hammock, he's lying down, now he wants to say Krishma. Who says he's going to sleep? It's mashma a little bit, it's also to lie down even when you're not going to sleep. It ends up being a big machlokes. Are you allowed to lie down on your back if there's no sleep? L'chayra, what a lot of places can say is that what's going on over here is this guy's going to sleep. This guy's going to sleep. If you're lying in bed, you're on your back, you're going to go to sleep. You're going to fall asleep on your back. If you lie on your back, that's how you're going to sleep. That's what it's talking about. That's why it's also.
But if you're lying on the side, 1 second, what's the optimal position?
On your side. It's a machlekes if also the same thing applies. You're not allowed to lie on your stomach.
Can you be sitting up?
You're not allowed to sleep on your stomach.
Can you sit on the edge of your bag and say Shema? Or are you supposed to be in a position of
Why
sleeping?
Why? No, you're allowed to stand up. You're allowed to sit down.
Some people sleep sitting up.
Yeah. What was the other machlekes over here? Fascinating thing. Slipped my mind now.
Slept your mind. Haha.
Yeah. Okay. Says the Gemara. Oh yeah, I just want to say the story. That apparently the famous story they say about the Shabtai Tzvi, that the Mashiach Sheker, for those who don't know, Mashiach Sheker, this guy said he was Mashiach, and actually a tremendous amount of big tzaddikim, rabbonim, Talmud Chacham, they followed him. He was very charismatic. He was a big Talmud Chacham, and people followed him.
Like an Obama type.
He was very charismatic. I don't know what he was. Apparently, there's some Sforim say the Riyavit says he did Moifsim, he I don't know what he did. He did something. Maifsim, and people were convinced that this guy's Mashiach. And the story is that the Taz, one of the stories, there's a few stories of people that busted him, of Yeshivs, said, I can't remember. Anyway, but one of the stories is that the Taz sent Shlichim to check him out. Before he went off, he went crazy and became a Muslim, and don't ask, right? But in his early career, the Taz sent someone to check him out, and they saw him sleeping on his back. They said, "There ain't no Mashiach. He's sleeping on his back," right? Okay, that's the story. Says the Gemara. Yeah, he fooled a lot of people. It was mamash disaster. Says the Gemara. Ubeprakim Shayel. The Gemara, the Mishnah. We're going back to the Mishnah now. The Mishnah says that in between the chapters of Krishma, you're allowed to ask how you're doing, how you're not doing. You're allowed to ask, covered, answer, for fear, whatever it is. So the Gemara says, the Mishnah says, Meishiv machmas mai. In other words, the Lashon of the Mishnah was, I'll read to you the Lashon of the Mishnah. The Lashon of the Mishnah was, Shayel mipnei kavod. You're allowed, out of respect to someone, you say, how you doing? How are you? Shalom alecha, whatever. If you have to respect the guy. Or Meishiv. It doesn't say Meishiv to what? Kavod, Yira, Kaladam. It just says Meishiv. So what does Meishiv mean? It just says Meishiv. To who? Who can you answer to? That's the Gemara's question. So Meishiv machmas mai. If it means Shalom mipnei kavod, the Meishiv mipnei kavod. Hashta mishal shayla adorim mibai. If you can ask Shalom, how are you? Of course you can answer. If you don't answer, it's very disrespectful. So it says, how are you doing? And you're like, that's a much bigger disrespect than not asking someone how you're doing. Ella, so what does it mean? Shayel mipnei kavod. Out of respect, you can ask someone, how are you? Meishiv shalom chalatam. So what does it mean? It has to mean you can answer to everybody. I'm fine. In that case, if it means answer to everybody, aim the safe. What are you going to do with the end of the Mishnah? It says in the end of the Mishnah, but emta, in the middle of the verse, shayel mipnei yira, you can ask someone, if you're scared of him, you can even ask, how are you? How are you, the king? Right? Or Meishiv, and it says a Meishiv. What is a Meishiv? If it means a Meishiv machmas mai, ilema mipnei yira, if it means mipnei yira, so hashda, mishashal adori mibai, if you can ask the king how you doing, of course you can answer to the king.
The king will kill him if he doesn't agree.
Exactly. Ela mipnei kavod. So what does it mean? You're going to say, if the king asks you, you have to answer. But sorry, ela mipnei kavod, you can answer mipnei kavod. If your father asks you, how are you, you should answer. In that case, Hanid Rabbi Yehuda. If that's what it means, that's the same thing as Rabbi Yehuda later on. That's not Rabbi Meir, that's Rabbi Yehuda. But Shalom Pnei Yira, why Pnei Kavod? The Snan, Rabbi Yehuda, remember, Emsa Shalom Pnei Yira, Meishiv Pnei Kavod. Or Prokim Shalom Pnei Kavod, Meishiv Shalom Choladam. So Chesuri Mechsra. So you have to say that there's something missing in this Mishnah. What's missing? The following. Prokim Shalom Pnei Kavod, Veinza Achloi Meshu Meishiv. Between the chapters, you can say, you can Shalom Pnei Kavod, you can ask how you doing out of respect, and of course, you add the words, of course you can answer, so he adds in the words, of course it's partial, if you can ask, it's partial you can answer. Okay, that's the Mishnah. Okay, I guess we'll have to wrap it up here. It's the end of the show. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Have a wonderful day.
Have a wonderful day.